Hello everyone, this is grade 8 tutor and I'm in the person of Ajimano Faridek. Today we will be treating information system, organization and strategy. So we have to look at the learning objectives, which talks of the features of an organization, which features of organization do managers need to know about to build and use information systems successfully. What is the impact of information systems on organization? How do Porter's competitive forces model, the value chain model, synergies, core competencies, and network economics help companies develop competitive strategy using information systems? What are the challenges posed by strategic information systems and how they should be addressed? So these are the learning objectives at the end of this lesson. So we move on to how organization influence technology and how technology also influences organization. You get it? So you knowing this, you can get to know that information technology and organization move hand in hand. They both influence each other. So IT or information technology influences organization by helping them to achieve an efficiency. I hope you are getting it. So information technology or information systems has its own way of what? Influencing organization. An organization influences information systems in what way? Through its structure, its business processes, its politics, its culture, its environment, and its management decisions. So, looking at its structure, the structure of an organization depends on the information systems that you are going to use. So in this sense, it is influencing information systems in a way that how the organization is being structured is how or is what they are going to use to find information systems to help the structure of the organization. I hope you are getting it. Talking of its business processes. Its business processes, you see, in a business, they tend to develop routines. You get it? So whilst firms becomes effective over time because individuals in the firms develop routines for producing goods and services. So these routines are sometimes called the standard operating procedures. So how do information systems or how do organizations influence information systems through their business processes, through their routines? Sometimes information systems are introduced in the organization because seeing how the business has developed a routine, the only thing that information system is going to do to help the organization is to help them improve upon their productivity and efficiency. So the information systems is trying to adapt to the kind of routines and standards that the organization has developed over time. And talking of its politics, the politics in an organization influences the kind of information system that is supposed to be used. In what way? Seeing to it that we have different kinds of positions in an organization whereby every individual has its own perspective on how resources are supposed to be used. You get it? So this person has his own perspective. This person has his own perspective. So all these interests coming together, conflicting with each other, result in politics. So if there's a kind of organization, if there's this kind of politics in organization, it influences how information systems are introduced into the organization. That is when it influences how organizations are ready to change. Please, I hope you are getting it. So we move on to the culture. The culture of an organization influences the kind of information systems to use. Because information systems has to check out the kind of culture that the organization finds itself in. So organization is influencing information system in what way? Through its culture. Because you can't adopt any kind of information systems to any kind of culture in the organization. Please, I hope you are getting it. Talking of environment, the business environment, whereby we have disruptive technologies. And we are talking of what? Management or decisions. So let's move on to the next as we discussed. So looking at organization, we all know that organizations consist of people who come together consists of a deliberate structure, having a collective goal in order to achieve something. Hope you are getting it. But in this lesson, we are going to find out the technical definition of an organization and the behavioral definition of what? An organization. Talking of the technical definition of an organization in information systems, we are talking of how organization gets input from the environment and how they process or they process those inputs into outputs. Hope you are getting it. How they process those inputs into output. For this talks of the technical approach. But talking of the behavioral approach of organization, we are talking of how information systems are used or affect the internal process of the organization or the internal management of the organization. Please, I hope you are getting it. So we know the technical approach and the behavioral approach of definition towards organization. We move on to the features of organization. We have its uses of hierarchical structure, its accountability, authority and system of impartial decision making, adherence to principle of efficiency, routines and business processes, organization, politics, culture, environment, and structures. So talking of the features, what makes up an organization? It has a structure. What makes up an organization? What are the things that when we see, we can see that this is an organization. It is accountable, or everyone in an organization is accountable to someone. Hope you are getting it. It adheres to the principle of efficiency. Every organization always maintain that principle that we have to be efficient, produces maximum for coming with the high productivity, with the less input that you have. I hope you are getting this. How, when we see routines and business processes, we can see that this is an organization, because every organization has a routine. They all have a process. They all have a method. They all have a way of doing some things. Hope you are getting it. So these are some of the features of organizations, and we are going to be talking about it as we move on. So talking of organizational politics, as I said earlier, it talks of diverse viewpoints lead to political struggle. Everyone in organization is occupying a position, or everyone has its own operation in the organization. Maybe the production manager, this kind of manager, this kind of operator, this kind of that. So everyone in the organization is having their own way of how resources are supposed to be used. And if interest conflicts one's interest, then it leads to political struggle. Please, I hope you are getting it. So these are the organizational politics, and sometimes it becomes very difficult for organization to adapt to change when there's introduction of information system, because everyone wants the information system to be used in this way. Everyone wants information system to be used in that way, this way, that way, this way, that way. Please, I hope you are getting it. So these are what the organizational politics as we move on. So we talk of the organizational culture. It encompasses the goal and the product, what the organization is supposed to produce, whom to produce, and how to produce. Hope you are getting it. So these activities talks of the culture, what the organization is planned to do, what organization is made up to do. You see, so with these activities, the organization know the product to produce, where to produce to, who are we producing to, consists of what? The culture of organization. They are doing something. They are all doing one particular thing. They all share the same belief at a particular time. Please, I hope you are getting it. Then we move on to the organizational environment. You see, for an organizational environment, you can see that organization influence environment and environment also influence organization. But the rate at which environment grows is faster than organizations. You get it? So sometimes in a way that there is a way that environment changes through disruptive technologies. We are going to be talking about that through what? Disruptive technologies. So you can also get to know that if organizational environments of which information systems helps to be an instrument in environmental what scanning. Please, I hope you are getting it. In an environmental what scanning. So the organization, its environment helps to let us know how organization is going to adapt to changes if information systems are being introduced. So let's say under organizational environment, we talk of disruptive technologies. So you see, sometimes it becomes very difficult for organizations to change because of changes in the environment. So sometimes environment changes faster as compared to organizations. Whenever there's a new technology coming up to sweep up the old way of doing things, hope you are getting it. A new technology coming up to sweep up the old way or the old technology away is called the disruptive what? Technologies. And the people that build these disruptive technologies are called the first movers. And the people that adapt with the old way and the new way of technology are what? The fast followers. So most of the time, the fast followers, they're having an upper hand over the first movers. Because as you introduce it for the first time in your organization, it might get some problems, it might get some challenges that you'll be facing. But because some people have already been in an organization for some time, the moment these technologies are being introduced, they know the exact place and the exact position to place that kind of what? Information systems. Please, I hope you are getting it. So we move on to the 5 basic kinds of what? Organizational structure. We are talking of what? The entrepreneur, machine bureaucracy, divisionalized bureaucracy, professional bureaucracy, and also we are going to talk of the adhocracy. Please, I hope you are getting it. So with this, as I'm starting to explain the entrepreneur, it talks of young, small firm in a fast-changing environment. Those entrepreneur structure of organization, they have that simple structure and it's managed by an entrepreneur. Hope you are getting it. We are moving on to the machine bureaucracy. It talks of large existing firm that is slowly changing the environment, and also it produces standard what? Products. You see, sometimes it is dominated by centralized management team and centralized decision making. So the machine bureaucracy are the ones that is like they are like firms producing in a standard way of which its operations and its decision making are what? Centralized. Please, I hope you are getting it. We move on to the divisionalized bureaucracy, talking of combination of multiple machines of which each produces what? Different products. Hope you are getting it. So the divisionalized bureaucracy talks of those multiple machines coming together and each machine is producing what? A different products. You get it? So it's like, it talks of product differentiation. I hope you are getting it. So we get to know if organization is operating in a divisionalized way, you get to know the kind of information systems to use. If it's operating divisionalized structure, like its operations is different. Maybe they have operations in Ghana. They also have a different operation in the US, in different countries. So it's like they are adapting to differentiation because each country has its own culture and it has its own way of doing their thing. So they have to adapt to it. Hope you are getting it. And we have the professional bureaucracy, which talks of the knowledge-based organization where goods and services are depend on expertise and knowledge. So it's like this professional bureaucracy talks of the knowledge-based organization. Everything, expertise, their knowledge, they are all is dominated by what? The knowledge. And also is dominated by department heads. And sometimes there is weak centralization. You get it? That's for the professional bureaucracy. And talking of the adhocracy, we are talking of those task force organizations that must respond rapidly to changing environments. You get it? So sometimes they consist of those large groups of specialists organized into a short-lived place or teams. Okay, again, so the adhocracy, like those are the things that must respond to the organizations as what, they must respond to the environment as it's changing. So these are the 5 basic kinds of organizational structure as we move on. So we move on to other organizational feature. We have the goals. Yeah, of course. Every organization has a goal. Every organization has a constituents. Every organization has its own leadership style. Every organization has their own task, their own duties, their own routines. Yes. Every organization has its own environment, because the environment that this organization must be in will be different than kind of environment that this organization is also in. So these are the other features of what organization. Then we move on to the impact of information systems on organization. So when you're talking of the impact of information systems on organization, it comes with what? The impact of what? Economic impact. So with this economic impact, we are talking of how IT both changes the relative cost of capital and the cost of informations. You get it? So information systems can be viewed as a factor of production that can be substitute for traditional capital and labor. You see, at first, the way we used to be doing things, taking in more labor. Information systems helps to achieve this economic impact by reducing or by shrinking the number of employees in an organization, because the work that those employees should be doing, those information systems and information technology has take place. So it is reducing the cost of labor, the number of people that you should employ in order to pay them. Hope you are getting it. So those information systems has been introduced to achieve those economic impacts, of which it changes the relative cost of what? Capital and the cost of information. How, when we talk of the cost of information, we are talking of, you see, sometimes when you want something from someone, it has to pass through someone, your agent, it pass through this person, it pass through this person, it has to pass through this person. So most of the times, it makes the cost of you getting an information to be high. But because information systems is being introduced into an organization, it impacts it becomes very easy for organization to get information on time. It doesn't have to pass through this. It doesn't have to pass through your secretary. It doesn't have to pass through this. It doesn't need to pass through this and that, so that the cost will become high. But since it has been introduced, it impacts, it quickens you getting information on time, and it changes or it reduces the cost of you obtaining what? How do we say? The cost of obtaining an information. Please, I hope you are getting it. So we move on to, okay, so as we move on to the economic impact, from the economic impact, we can get to know the transaction cost of what theory. So the transaction cost theory talks of firms and individuals seeks to economize on transaction costs. How? The way they try to reduce the cost of production, they also try to reduce the cost of what? Transaction. If I get it. So when you talk of transaction cost, like the cost incurred when a firm's like buys on the marketplace when it cannot produce for itself. If you are getting it. So firms seek to economize on transaction costs. You see, sometimes how you get to transact things becomes very high. And because information systems are being introduced, it helps you to get to know what to do and what not to do. Like, you see, because information systems have is helping in what way. You see, sometimes it's giving you the consumer or the customer the consuming like power. You get it in what way? You see, sometimes for you to reduce transaction costs, sometimes for you to do some things, it has to pass through a whole lot of people. Like, you have to transact this before you do this, before you do that, before you do this. Hope you are getting it. But because information systems is being introduced, it lowers market transaction costs for a firm and making it worthwhile for firms to transact with other firms rather than grow the number of employees. So instead of you keep on employing some people for a period of time, and over time you keep on employing. These information systems helps in what? Reducing this kind of transaction what costs, which means that how a firm buys something at a marketplace of which it cannot produce for itself. You get it? You see, sometimes it has to compare the prices of what other product. It has to compare the prices. It has to compare how the prices of each product so that it will be able to get a price or a product at a low cost so that the business can what involve itself in what buy them. Please, I hope you are getting it. That's the transaction cost of theory. And that agency theory talks of being they assume that a firm is a nexus of contracts. When you talk of nexus of contract, it means like different organizations or different individuals what coming together to form a single entity. So like, for example, if you want to create something like a car, or maybe you want to manufacture a car, some people has to produce the body, others has to manufacture the tires, others has to manufacture the engine, the seats, the dashboard, the mirrors, the boots, the bonnet, and other stuff. So these individual people coming up together to form a single what entity. That talks of what the agency of theory. That's what the nexus of contracts. You get it? So every individual has its self-interest. But since they all have different self-interest, those self-interests will be coming together to form a particular what entity or a single entity. Please, I hope you are getting it. So these firms experience agency costs, the cost of managing and supervising. How you have to supervise them, supervise people, a whole lot of people in the organization. But now information systems have been making it simple for supervision to be done in the easiest way, reducing that agency cost of theory. You have to employ someone to check up something on you, like you have to employ someone to be your agent in order to monetize something for you in the organization. It is becoming very what easy because of what information system. Because right now some managers are monitoring what people that used to monitor the organization on their own through information systems and through information technology. Please, I hope you are getting it. Yes. So we move on to how how information systems influence the organization in its behavioral way. What we discussed was the technical aspect. Now we are moving to the behavioral perspective of how information systems influence organization. One, it flattens the organizations. You see, at first, our traditional hierarchy was like, it has to go to this person, it has to go to this person, it has to go to this person before that information is being what achieved. So looking at the picture here, you can get to know that our traditional way of doing stuff was at first, it has to move to this person. You can see it has to move to the other person, moving to this person, moving to this person before the information that you need will be achieved. But now it has flattened the organization in a sense that it is reducing the number of people or the number of intermediaries of which there has to be in that organizational structure. You get it? So now it is making things simple and it's making information simple for others to use them. And the post organization also agrees to that. Why? Because the post industrial organization are the ones that has been able to change from their old way of doing stuff to the new way of doing some other things. Please, I hope you are getting it. So that's the post industrial organization. You move on to organization resistance to change. You see, sometimes the impact of information systems becomes very hard for organization to change because they've developed some routines, some processes for some time. You introducing a new technology becomes hard for them. It becomes very, 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 very hard for them to adapt to that. Which I hope you again. So information systems have brought up these impacts, which it becomes very hard for organizations to resist or to accept change. So they are always resisting to change. Because I hope you are getting it. Yes. So we move on to the internet and organization. We get to know that internet increases accessibility, storage, distribution of information, and knowledge for organization. You get it. So the impact of information systems, you see, internet and organization. Organization mostly depends on the internet for everything. So it is like the internet is helping organizations to get information, to get some adequate information on how they have to operate, how they have to do this, how they have to do that. Because organization must depend on the internet to store up their data. They must depend on the internet to get some kind of information, to distribute some kind of information, and to get some kind of knowledge in doing their stuff. Please, I hope you are getting it. We move on to organizing factors in planning a new system. If you are planning of a new system, the thing that you should consider, the organizational factors that you should consider in planning a new system. One, you have to consider the environment, consider the structure, consider the culture, consider the type and the leadership or style, consider the interest groups of what the organization, and consider the decision, the tax, and the business processes of the informations. The organization. So as we move on, we get to know Michael Porter's competitive forces of model. That's the 5 forces of competitive model by Michael Porter. The first one is the traditional competitors. Second one is the new market entrants. The third one is the substitute products and services. And the fourth one is customers and suppliers. Please, I hope you are getting it. So when you talk of the competitive forces, these are the forces that shape a firm, that shape the fate of a firm, how a firm should do their things. So you have to remember those 5 forces: traditional competitors, new market entrants, substitute products and services, customers and suppliers. And how do these things shape the firm, or how do these things shape the fate of the organization? When you talk about traditional competitors, these are the people that keep on developing new products and always attracting new customers. Hope you are getting it. Yes, they are always developing new products to attract new customers. Those are the traditional competitors. Talking of the new entrants, the people that are now entering into the organization, that are now entering into the business sector. You get it? These people also have a way they influence the fate of the existing firms, how they should operate, how they should get the core competencies to be on a higher level. Please, I hope you are getting it. We have the substitute products and services. You see, sometimes when you are in an environment whereby your operation has substitute, it's become very difficult for you to price a product at a particular point. Hope you are getting it. So you see, all these forces has a way of changing the way organizations do their things or go about their things. Talking of customers. Customers are also part of the competitive forces of model. Why? Because now information systems is helping customers to decide the kind of product for them to buy, because they'll get enough information on different products, the price of different products. So sometimes it becomes very hard for you in that, that organization to price a product, because you think that your customers won't get the access to much more information of different products, of which they'll get to know the one which has a low price or a low cost, and then they will purchase it. You get it? So it influences you, the organization, how you have to operate. Talking of the supplies, sometimes the people that you work with, the people that supplies you what you, the organization you are into, you have to make sure that these people, you build that kind of relationship with them. You get it? So with this 5 for competitive model by Michael Porter, they also came up with with the strategies in help deal with those competitive forces. And these strategies were developed by Michael Porter as well. Hope you are getting it. So the 4 general strategies were the low cost leadership, product differentiation, focus on market niche, strengthen customer and supplier intimacy. Please, I hope you are getting it. Yes, you have to enter, or you have to get to know that kind of lowering your costs of production, so that you'll be able to price your product within which the people or the people in that environment need. You have to get to your different product differentiation. Product differentiation, talking of producing products, customizing your product to a particular people, customizing a kind of product to help a particular people or to help a particular kind of customers. Please, I hope you are getting it. Focus on a market niche. Get to know the people that needs your product. Serve them at your best interest. You get it? So with those 5 competitive forces of model, these are the strategies. Build those market niche. Focus on them. Have a product differentiation. Get a low cost leadership. Get people. That's why Walmart, they are the best retailer in the world, because they are the kind of organization that deals in that low cost of leadership. Talking of customer and supplier, you have to strengthen that relationship between the customer and the supplier. Build that intimacy. Because if you want to really get to a place whereby your customers can or your suppliers can even give you the resources that you need to do something without you being paying it for. Okay, so this way, these strategies helps in what? Fighting those 5 competitive force model as derived by what? Michael Porter. Hope you are getting it. And you see, sometimes it becomes very hard. We've explained the low cost of leadership, product differentiation. We've explained the focus on market niche, the people that needs your product. Focus on them. You have to focus on building strong relationship with your customer and what? Supplier. So you see, sometimes it becomes very hard for you to get those strategies in place. That is why Michael Porter came up with what? The value chain model. So with the value chain model, you can get to know that we have the support activities, we have the primary activities. The primary activities, what the business produce, what the business or the kind of products and services the business are into, or the kind of services or whatever the business entails of, like the kind of or the main motive of why the business are made up is the primary activities. You get it? But the supportive activities are the ones that helps the organization to produce the value they want. Hope you are getting it. So with the primary activity, we are talking of inbound logistics, the inbound logistics. We move on to operations, outbound, sales and marketing, and then we move on to service. So I hope you are getting it. So the inbound logistics, the primary activities, the inbound logistics talks of you receiving resources or materials from your suppliers, putting those resources into what? Processes, and what's coming out with storage of those products or those services that you've produced, and also helping to market those products and services, and then you make a sale. Please, I hope you are getting it. So the value chain model. Why was the value chain model derived? Because at times those strategies to fight the competitive kind of model can be overlooked. So people have to depend on the value chain model, whereby they have to depend the kind of process or where they have to focus. Do they have to focus on the primary activities? If it's the primary activities, do they have to focus on their operations to build the value? Do they have to focus on the inbound to build the value? Do they have to focus on the outbound to build the value? Yes. You get it? So you see, for the 5 competitive model, it's a general thing. But for the value chain model, it helps you to know where exactly that you have to hit on. Where you have to focus on. That's why you have the primary activities and the support activity. The support activities are the one which helps the primary activities to take place. Please, I hope you are getting it. So we move on to the value web. When you talk of the value web, you see, it's a collection of independent firms using high synchronized IT to coordinate value chains to produce a product or service collectively. You see, the value web is like a spider web. A spider web has a center. So all those tiny lines comes together at the center of the web. So the center of the web talks of what? The product. So you can see that all those lines coming together talks of individual firms who are best in doing something. So if you want to produce kente, or if you want to manufacture a car, we have different frames that are good in the body parts. We have different frames that are good in what? Building the tires. We have different frames that are good in building the engines and stuff. So if all those values, all those individual people comes together to build that kind of what? Products. That talks of what? The value web. Because every industry or every firm has its core competency. They are best in doing some things. I hope you are getting it. Yes, that talks about the value web. So sometimes when all these people comes together, they help. Because the value web is like your output is an input to some organization. If maybe an organization is producing a body part of a car, that's their output. But if an organization is producing a car, what they are good in, what they are good in is like, you are good in the body parts. I am good in assembling those parts. You get it? So each of the firm, they are what? Customer centralized. Because it's like their output is serving, their output is an input to someone. So in case you are a manufacturing company and you are producing a car, you get it? You producing that car, you need a body parts. So you getting that body parts mostly comes of someone producing that body parts. So the person's output, the person producing the body part was customer centralized because he knows that they have to do that. So when you get those stuff together, you are trying to combine all those their values together to make up something. Please, I hope it's clear. That's all about the value web. Different lines of values coming together in order to form what? A product or what? A service. And they do that by using information systems. They have to use information systems to know the right color, the right machine, the right side, the right this to do this and do that. Yes, I hope you are getting it. We move on to, as we have explained, you get to know that all these comes together in order to produce what? Something. And if the person producing the body part uses an information system, this person will also have to use a different information system. This person also have to use information system. They all come together. They all come together to build that kind of value, that kind of system or the product or service that we need. So we move on to information systems can improve overall through this performance. And what are the performances? Through synergies. When you talk of synergies, we're talking of you see, when output of some units, as I said earlier, when output of some units becomes input to others. So you have to work with this kind of person. So as you are together working it up together, you can get to build on a particular core competencies. Like you get to build on a particular value at a low cost, of which the environment, you, the business, or you, the organization, you are operating it, they will have to purchase. So through synergies, you'll be able to improve the performance of your organization, working with people who produces, and as they produce as an output, you need them as inputs to work whatever thing that you want to produce out. You move on to core competency. You see, core competency comes with what you are best at. If you are best at doing something, or if you are the world-class leader of doing something, that is called a core competency. Because sometimes it's either you have more resources, or it's either you use those little limited resources effectively. That makes you get that core competence in whatever business that, or in whatever environment that you get yourself into. So if businesses want to really perform more, they have to develop on their core competencies, what the business they are good at, what the business are really good at. They have to build on it. They don't have to focus on the kind of competition they want. Sometimes, in order for you to get an upper hand over your competitor, the only thing that you have to do is to build on what you are best at, building the value. Organization building that kind of value. So if you build what you are best at, you are always on top. You get it? But sometimes if you focus on your competitors, if you follow what your competitors are doing, and then instead of you focusing on what the organization is being made of, you're focusing on others. I get it? So if organizations want to improve upon their performance, they have to build on their core competency, building what they are best at. And also building on network-based strategies. On the network-based strategy, you have the network of economies, you have the virtual company model, and you have the business ecosystem. So the network of economies, you see, in economics, we have to we all know the law of diminishing returns, which talks of when a variable resources is being increased on a fixed kind of input, the marginal productivity increases, and as it increases, it reaches maximum and then begins to fall. That is not how in technology it works. In technology, as you keep on investing in technology, in IT technology, in information systems, the cost becomes zero. And as the cost becomes zero, the marginal productivity keeps on increasing. You see, so it is not following the law of economics. What we are getting is, so with network of economics, it talks of when information systems or information technology are being used, as it's being improved day by day over some time, over and over again, its cost becomes zero, and its productivity or the marginal productivity that it receives becomes what? High. So it's not following that law, which says that as a variable input is being applied on a fixed input, the marginal productivity what increases. As it increases, it reaches maximum and then begins to fall, and it gets to negative. Please, I hope you get it. So then that's the network of economics, whereby as information systems is being increased and is being improved, the marginal productivity or the marginal outcome what keeps on increasing and the cost becomes zero. I hope you are getting it. Yes. So we move on to the virtual company strategy. So the virtual company strategy, it talks of how businesses get to interact with other businesses through the digitalized way. You get it? Virtual company uses networks to cope with other companies to create and distribute products without being limited by traditional organization or boundaries. You get it? So it is becoming easy that if you base on network, it becomes very easy to cope with other firms in order to produce and distribute your product, so that you won't be bothered by the kind of physical location you are, the kind of the place you are as an organization. Please, I hope you are getting it. You want to the business ecosystems. Like the business ecosystems, you have the keystone firms, you have the niche firms. So the keystone firms, like, it dominates ecosystem and then create platform for other firms. So the keystone firms are the one that dominate the system, that dominate the ecosystem, the biological aspect of life. You get it? And then they create platform for other firms to use. Hope you are getting it. And also the niche firm, they rely on a platform developed by keystone firm. So the keystone firms, as they produce, the niche firms are the one they have to rely on it. Yes, I hope you are getting it. And the business ecosystem, as we said, you have the new entrants, substitute products and services, customers and suppliers. These were part of the 5 competitive forces of what model. And inside that, you can see industry 1, industry 2, industry 3, and industry 4. That's the industry ecosystem. So as the keystone dominates the system, the niche firms focus on a particular developed keystone firm. I hope you are getting it. Yes, that's how it is. So this brings us to the end, and as we are ending it, let us look at how to use information systems to develop, or as you use information systems to develop strategies, what are some of the things that we should do? We have to sustain the competitive advantage, because sometimes if you use information systems, it's not all that, it doesn't, how do I say, it's not planned for long-term purposes. So sometimes it becomes a short-term thing that we mostly do. Which I hope you are getting it. So that is it. And also we have to align our information technology with our business objectives. I hope you are getting it. So we have to also manage strategic transitions. That's adopting strategic system, which requires changes in business goals, relationship with customers and suppliers, and business processes. So you see, using information system to develop competitive advantage, we have to sustain that competitive advantage. We have to make sure that we align those IT with our objectives, and also you have to manage those strategic or transitions. You have to manage them. So this brings us to the end of this lesson, and then I'll see you in the other lesson. This is grade 8 tutor. Like and subscribe, and then see you the other time. Thank you.